Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a terrific show for you. It's going to be a lot of fun for me. Of course, I've said many different times I have had a very difficult time moving past just how much of a grind this season was, how unpredictable it was, how exhausting it was. I've spent just about this entire week not concerned about anything other than just gloating and enjoying the fact that the Dodgers just won their second World Series in a row. So I've had a really hard time transitioning into the offseason and back into the minor league part of what we're going to do here. But I can tell you, I'm squarely there. So I got a chance yesterday to catch up with one of my boys, Braydon Fisher. If you remember, Braydo was in the Dodgers organization, from about 19 till last year, 2024. So for about 5 years, he was in the Dodgers organization, dealt with some injuries early on, got traded in 2024, if you remember, for Cavan Biggio. And Braydon actually he pitched really well for Toronto this year. Made his major league debut back in early May in Seattle, pitched in the World Series this year. And so I had a chance to catch up with Braydon Fisher. And it's really cool. I hope you hang on. I'm going to play our conversation later in this show because Braydon takes you through the Robleski moment. He takes you through the plane ride back to Toronto when they had the 3-2 lead. He takes you through the 18-inning game, what the clubhouse was like for Toronto after the 18-inning game, what the clubhouse was like after Game 7, what it was like as a Toronto Bluejay player to watch the home run from Miguel Rojas and Will Smith, and then what it was like as a Bluejay player to watch the actual last out that Mookie Betts made on the double play. So Braydon, not only does he have a link, obviously, to the Dodgers, but he gives a tremendous behind-the-scenes look at what it was like to be the Toronto Blue Jays who went down in defeat to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Something I don't think really, as far as in-depth as he goes, he's very blunt, he's very honest, and he is very descriptive of what it was like for the Blue Jays to come up on the short end of the stick here in this World Series. So that's probably going to be about the last thing that we do in terms of this last World Series. But it's a lot of fun. I hope you stick with it because he does a great job giving you the other side's perspective, of which I thought was really cool to listen to. So the big news here, Max Muncy, absolutely slam dunk, no doubt about it. Even if he didn't hit the home run in the World Series, I think it was going to be a slam dunk that the Dodgers picked up his club option. Of course, in 2023, he signed a 2-year extension for $24 million, and he had the $10 million club option. That was very obvious that the Dodgers were going to pick him up. But I think there were some surprises in terms of what some of the 40-man roster adds. And the first guy that we're going to look at right here, I want to get into this. This is my boy, old Wardo. So let's talk a little bit about Ryan Ward and some of the things that he has been able to do. Of course, this is a guy that has had a great hit tool for a long, long time. What you're seeing right here, in early May, the first game of a doubleheader, Ryan Ward actually hit a walk-off inside the park home run. So that ought to tell you the type of athlete he is. He didn't even get off to a great start. He was still able to hit an inside the park home run for a walk-off in the first game of a doubleheader there. That was a preface of things to come. By the way, that home run there by Ryan Ward that you just saw actually tied him for the all-time lead in home runs in the history of the Bricktown era. Here's a good look at Ryan Ward from the stadium here. So what about Ryan Ward? He grew up in Millbury, Massachusetts. He graduated high school with less than 100 kids in his class. So the work ethic that he brings to the table is absolutely phenomenal, and he is not shy to be very proud of those small town, just kind of small community type work ethic values that he has learned. And man, this is a guy that will wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work with his dad, go do his baseball stuff, work all day long, and then come back and do his baseball stuff at the end of the night too, and do it all over again the next day. This is a real big-time worker. And then he went to Bryant. He's the only Bryant Bulldog ever to hit 400 or over in a single season. So again, this hit tool thing for Ryan Ward is not new. He struck out all of one time in his senior year in high school. And last year, he really put together a two-strike approach where he spread out a little bit, and then he just kind of thought up the middle, punched the ball the other way. That allowed him to get he can do this. We know that. He looks like Jock Peterson when he does that. But I think really the difference between him last year, which he's been very good, almost every year he's been in the minors, but the difference between being very good and being the PCL most valuable player of the league like he was last year is the fact that he created a two-strike approach. He spreads out, he thinks the other way. And because of that, he was able to put lower his strikeout rate down to 18%. His walk rate was 12%. So his walk rate and strikeout rate, despite the fact that he hit 36 home runs and set had a historic year in terms of home runs and RBIs. We'll get into just how historic here in a minute. He only struck out 18% of the time. That's because he also had a two-strike approach. So most valuable player in the PCL this last season, he hit 290, so the batting average is there too. OPS 937, that's for the entire season. WRC plus of 132, so 32% above league average. 36 home runs. Those 36 home runs led all of the minor leagues. And again, because he put in a two-strike approach this year, he lowered his strikeout rate down to 18%, which is, for what he put up, is incredible. So he also became the all-time home runs leader with 90 and all-time RBI leader with 318 in the history of the Bricktown Ballpark era. Now, keep in mind, that goes all the way back to 1998. I was there the very first night that they opened the Bricktown Ballpark in 1998. I was sitting in the right field upper deck bleachers, which now they don't even have seats there. They have tarps with advertising on them. I was there. There was about 14 to 15,000 people there that night. And so my history goes all the way back to the mid-'70s and All Sports Stadium, the 6 different affiliates Oklahoma City's been. But really, I mean, I can remember the very first night like it was yesterday, opening up the Bricktown Ballpark. So to be the all-time home runs leader at 90, the all-time RBIs leader at 318, and the history of the Bricktown Ballpark is not only historic, it's very personal to me because I have seen every single, and I go to Oklahoma City games even before they were the Dodgers, 2, 3, 4 times a week anyways. And so it's very historic, but it's even more historic for me because I have seen all the Steve Bye-Bye Balbonis. I've seen all the Juan Gonzalez's, the Pudge Rodriguez's. I've seen all these guys come through. And for Wardo, a guy that I've interviewed several different times, a guy I communicate with regularly, to have that record is just absolutely, absolutely special. And then also to do it in the first year of the new branding to the Comets felt like kind of a page turner, like, okay, this is the new page of AAA Oklahoma City baseball. So that was cool too. Ward drove at 122 runs, most of any player in the PCL since 2010. That's how historic that is. And how about the total bases? 315 total bases. That's the most amount of total bases of any player in the PCL since 2001. When you think that PCL, as offensive as that league is, and he doesn't play in one of those Reno or one of those Seattle or Albuquerque type stadiums, Oklahoma City is not elevated. So to not play in one of those elevated stadiums and to do that and to have that historic of results over guys that have played in stadiums that have been way more elevated than Bricktown Ballpark is, that's absolutely incredible. So also Ward set single season records for the Bricktown era in hits. So not just slug, he had 164 hits, which is a single season record in the Bricktown era. He also set the single season record in the Bricktown era with runs scored at 113 and RBIs at 122. So his defense, I'll be quite honest with you, his defense, Ryan Ward, is not his calling card. He is not a terrible defender. He is a good athlete, and I will say one thing about Ryan Ward. He has worked really, really, really hard, and we're going to see a double here, then a sliding catch, to become a good defender. So is he going to be like an incredible defender? No, but he's a good athlete. He can go catch the fly ball. And I tell you what, he's played first base. I think he probably profiles as a left fielder for the Dodgers. Arm is okay. I mean, it's nothing special. It's not anything that's going to blow you out of the water or anything like that. But I really think he's a guy that could be a very adequate left fielder. So let me keep clipping through these and see if I can find some defensive clips that you can see here. So I wouldn't say that you would say, I mean, his calling card is always going to be, no doubt about it, is going to be his hit tool, no doubt. And his hit tool is absolutely legit. But if you're just curious about his defense, I think you're going to get a solid defender, nothing that blows you away. I don't think it's going to be anything that is going to lose you games or anything like that, but I wouldn't want you to think you're getting an elite defender or anything like that. But I think it's safe to say that he is a guy that you could get good defense out of in left field. I don't think you'll play a whole lot of first base. I don't think the height and the length is what the Dodgers would look for. Plus, you have a lot of guys that could play there to begin with that I don't think that he would take precedent over. So I think you're looking at a left field situation. Congratulations to Ryan Ward, who got put on the 40-man roster for the Dodgers. And this guy right here, Ward-Ortiz, that a baby right there. Okay, had a huge year this past season. He posted an ERA of 2.73, which is awesome. Now, he had too many walks. There's no doubt about that. We're not going to hide that. But keep in mind, this is a guy that was a huge prospect back in 2021. Him and Carlos Duran were kind of the two big things. You remember the Dodgers traded Carlos Duran this past year for Esteury Ruiz. And Ortiz, he has that big slider that you'll see here in a minute. He had Tommy John, and really, he hasn't pitched almost at all since then. That's about a 96er up in the zone. He can hit a 7 average every now and then. Ward-Ortiz can, but the calling card is the big sweeping slider. There's no doubt about that. So he has Tommy John. He tries to come back in 2024 in May. He only gets to throw about 6 different times. He has to shut it down again. And so he threw, I think, 11 innings. So from 2021 until the beginning of last year, 2025, he had thrown a total of 11 innings. And this year, he threw 59.1 innings, had 72 strikeouts. So the fact that he's able to stay healthy, there's that big sweeping slider, was huge for him. And then when you add the success to it, and he went from AA to AAA, and so he faced guys who were in the major leagues. To have the success he had coming off the long layoff, very, very, very impressive for him. He has great stuff, and so the Dodgers just saw the upside in the sweeping slider, the 6 or the 7, and if we just clean up a little bit of the execution piece, there's a nice slider there. You have something really nice, and hey, left-handed relievers don't fall off trees, especially guys that have the type of stuff that Ward-Ortiz does here. So if you haven't heard of Ward-Ortiz, don't feel bad. It's just simply because he has been a guy that has not got to pitch a whole lot in the Dodgers system since 2021. So he is really good. So I wanted to cover him and go over those two guys. Congratulations again to Ryan Ward. Congratulations to Ward-Ortiz. I think the Max Muncy thing was pretty much a slam dunk. So congratulations to those guys. I'm pressed on time. So what I'm going to do now, really cool. Got to catch up with Braydon Fisher. Please stick with this. Please watch this because, first of all, Braydo is an absolute stud, and I would love it if you stuck around and listened to Braydon. But then again, I think it's really cool to listen to the Toronto Blue Jays' perspective of how the World Series went along for them and what it was like for them. So here we go. We are going to start with our talk with Braydon Fisher, one of the pitchers on the Toronto Blue Jays. Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here, joined by one of my favorite players of all time. He is no longer with the Dodgers, but you just got to see him with the Toronto Blue Jays. That is one Mr. Braydon Fisher. Braydo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Okay, first of all, I'm sure it's a whirlwind of emotions for you. Probably the most legendary, at least if not the most legendary World Series of all time. One of, certainly. You got to pitch in the 18-inning game. All of that is just crazy awesome, especially considering in 2024, the year before, you're in AA. I mean, you barely even got to pitch like one game in AAA. So you went from that to getting to pitch in the World Series the next year. You got to pitch in the World Series, have success, and then lose at the end of it to one of the most iconic franchises. So that had to be such a whirlwind event for you.
Yeah, I mean, just the last year and a half in general has been very, a lot of moving around, a lot of new things, a lot of new experiences, but it's just a blessing to be able to do it all.
Okay, so you went to Clear. Let's have a little fun here. You went to Clear Falls and League City. Clear Falls, that's the newer high school, right?
Yes, I believe that's the newest one in the district.
Clear Creek is the original one, right?
Clear Creek is the first one in that district, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's the oldest.
So I say that to say, do you know who the most famous baseball alum from Clear Creek is?
Yeah, Jay Buhner.
I'm sure you've heard that before, right?
I sure have.
Okay, so do you realize that Jay Buhner never got to play in the World Series?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, matter of fact, he played for Seattle, and he retired in 2001. So I got to say, I know Clear Falls. Every time I post about you, they repost it. They keep up with you to no end, Braydon. I got to say, there's some bragging rights there. You got to take those bragging rights back to League City, right?
I know. I will do. I sure will take it back. I know he had an amazing career. So I don't know if me personally versus him, but the teams I've been on, obviously. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I mean? Hey, so we have a little conflict here. I'm saying Bregman's from Clear Falls, just like Buhner. You're saying he's from New Mexico. Is that right?
I believe Bregman's from New Mexico. He didn't go to Clear Creek.
Okay, very good. Okay, So let's get into the series here. Tell us what it was like. We talked about 2024. Here you are in Tulsa. You got promoted to Oklahoma City. You had a couple of injuries here and there, nagging injuries, and you made it up to AAA Oklahoma City. You actually got sent back down to Tulsa right when you got traded. So, I mean, it's like you're spinning your wheels in the Dodgers system. I know you're very blessed for all the development you got, but then you get traded for Kevin Biggio. Take us through that process.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm very blessed to be able to spend my beginning of my professional career in the Dodgers organization. They have a lot of knowledge in there, a lot of experience. Last year was like you said, a whirlwind. Starting in AA wasn't my favorite thing. So I just was, I was like, all right, well, this is where I'm at. This is the card I was dealt. I'm going to do my best to, get to the next spot. End up getting called up. Before the AA season even starts, I get to go make a spot start. I believe it was a start. I don't remember exactly, but I go up to OKC and pitch one time, then go back to AA, which was kind of expected for that one. But then I have pretty good success in AA for the next couple of weeks there, and they call me back up to OKC to be there for good. And then when I get there, I don't really pitch very much. We have a lot of guys on the 40-man, a lot of guys that are ahead of me in line. We have a lot of relievers, and I understand how it works. You know what I mean? Obviously, I want to pitch as much as possible, but and then when I was getting in the game, I just wasn't doing very well. Yeah. So it makes sense. You know what I mean? They're looking for people to help them out in the big leagues, and I wasn't doing that. So end up going back to AA to go get some more, innings under my belt. And then I think I'm there for like 6 days. And then my first off day, I get traded to the Bluejays.
I think you're in Albuquerque.
Yeah, we were in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
We were in Albuquerque, went back to Tulsa.
Yeah.
So went back to Tulsa on Monday, played on Tuesday, but I was told on Tuesday, Fish, you're going to get in the game because you haven't been pitching often. We're going to get you in the game today, and you're 100% getting full inning. Cool. So in my head, I'm going to pitch and probably be the first one out just so I guarantee to get an inning, right? And so the phone rings. You know how it goes. Phone rings to get the starter out of the game, and it's not me, it's somebody else. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll be the next one. Phone rings again in like the 8th, not me. Okay, I guess I'm coming in the 9th.
Was mom and dad and grandma and grandpa there?
No, I don't believe they were.
Okay.
I don't believe they were. But phone rings in the 9th, last opportunity, it's someone else. And I'm like,
what the hell? Yeah.
Now I'm upset.
Yeah.
And because one, I came back to AA to pitch more.
Of course.
Two, I was told I'm throwing today because I need to pitch more. And so I get back in the clubhouse, and I think Damon Keith walked it off. And so I'm in the restroom using the bathroom, and Hennessy on the top of his lungs, he's fired up. Where's Fish? Where's Fish at? And I'm like,
You're like, I'm in the effing bathroom. I didn't get to pitch today, Skip.
well, I thought I was in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Because the way he was yelling it, I'm like, what did I do? And I'm like, I'm in here. Go to my office. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm in trouble. But he's fired up from the game still.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I get in there, and he's like, where's the pitching staff? Where's everybody at? And then he looks at me, he goes, this isn't bad news, by the way. This is great for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So in my head, I'm like, if it's great for me, there's three options. I got traded, I'm going back to OKC, or I'm going to the big leagues. I just came back from OKC, not going there, not going to the big leagues. Probably got traded.
Yeah.
And so he ended up telling me that I got traded to the Bluejays, and, all that stuff that comes after getting traded, calling all the new people, trying to get flights, then telling them I got to pack this, I have a car, I need it shipped, all that stuff. So, yeah, that's how it went.
Was there any, I'm from South Texas, right? I can probably throw a rock to the beach, right? I'm used to it being humid and hot and warm. I just got traded to who? Toronto? I'm going to play in Buffalo? I mean, was there any of that?
I'd never been up there before.
Yeah, right.
So there was a little bit of that. I was just excited, man. Was
Buffalo cool? Was that a cool place to play baseball?
Yeah, it was fine. The city's, it's fine. It's really cold when it's cold. The stadium's big. The Blue Jays played there for a season, so the clubhouse is really nice.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, during COVID, they played there, and they had the whole underneath redone, the gym and all that stuff. So it's very nice. Facilities and stuff like that. But yeah, I liked Buffalo. I liked the team. I was, getting to know the new org, how they operated with things, and they kind of told me what they wanted to see from me, which was just throw more strikes. And so that's what I was trying to do. And I had my little blips in last season of Fish just went 2 weeks without getting in a 3-0 count or a 3-ball count, and then I'd walk 4.
Oh gosh.
So it's I was figuring it out, but yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah, fantastic. I actually thought you had a little bit more crossover with Andy Pages than you did. I don't think you played with him ever at Great Lakes. You didn't play with him at Rancho. You played with him for maybe 3 weeks at Tulsa, but you were teammates with him at Tulsa for right around a month. Let's say a month, give or take, whatever that may be. What was it like having to face him in the World Series? I know you got the best of him.
Yeah, so Pages and I signed with the Dodgers right around the same time. So I had known him for the whole time, and I like Pages a lot. He's a great dude, and he works his butt off, so I'll tip my cap to him for that. But seeing him come in the box, I just could remember one of his things in minor leagues was if you buzzed his tower and you made him do that, he was going to get a hit the next pitch. It does not matter where it was. I just remember always it was like a little thing in the clubhouse. He's about to hit a double. But granted, I don't throw fastballs, so
did you tell your pitchers not to buzz his tower then?
No, because it's a little different in the big leagues. Sure. But I just remember it was a lock. If you buzzed his tower and he had to lean back, he was getting a hit the next pitch or sometime in that at bat. But no, it was really cool. And in moments like that, you kind of want to give a little nod. I just couldn't. I couldn't. I wanted to, pay my respects to him, and, we look at each other in the eyes, and I'm kind of like, all right, let's go. But it was cool. He's a great hitter, and he's a great baseball player. So,
was there any of that, hey, man, it's a long way from Tulsa type feeling whenever you're looking at him?
Yeah, with the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You're looking at, half the team that comes into the game or is in the game I've played with before. It's cool to see your friends, be on the big stage in baseball with you. So
is it a weird kind of, set of emotions to where you're so grateful for? I know you changed your grip a little bit. You actually learned how to throw a slider in the Dodgers organization from Ian Walsh. You do all these great things that allowed you to become a major leaguer because you got you got developed in the system, but then you knew you probably had almost zero chance to actually make an impact at the major league level with the Dodgers. So you're very thankful for the development, but then also very thankful that they traded you because you had a better opportunity with another organization. Is that a weird deal for you?
I don't think it's weird, man. I think they drafted me with the expectation that I could be a big leaguer one day, hoping that it was with them. Different people need to hear things different ways, and I think I had heard everything that I possibly could, take in and use from the Dodgers. and then you go to a new organization and it's like they just say it in a little bit of a different way, or maybe just something
Sure.
different, and it just clicks a little bit differently. I'm very blessed that, that they had taught me everything. The Dodgers had taught me everything that they know, and then, got me out of there whenever they did. And I really don't see it as they were giving me away. I don't see it like that. I really do just see it as a better opportunity for me in my career.
Well, say it for yourself. I'm still pissed about it, but we'll go down that road a different time. But okay, so you make your major league debut in May of this last year. First of all, let me say this: you and Trey Savage. I mean, Trey Savage had an even crazier arc than you. He literally started in what is the equivalent of single A Rancho Cucamonga this year. Worked his all the way up. So, what is it about the Toronto system that allows guys like you and Trey Savage, both major league debuts this year, to be so confident in such big moments like the World Series?
So I've said it a couple times. I think being in the clubhouse and not feeling like the rookie, and you just feel like you're a part of the team, helps you go out there and pitch and just feel like a part of the team. It takes the pressure off.
Is that everywhere, or is that just this Toronto blue collar type?
This is the only place I've ever been, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, being able to go into the clubhouse and you can talk to Max Scherzer, Kevin Gausman, Chris Bassett, Jeff Hoffman, and feel as if you're just a teammate. You're not the rookie talking to the veteran. You know what I mean? I think, and then the camaraderie we had every day, and going out on the field, it just feels like you're playing a game. Because when you're in the clubhouse, it's like, oh, we're just getting ready to play a game. We're just having fun. It's not super serious. And I think that's where the success comes from the younger guys. And you saw it from all the rookies this year had their success, and it was just. I really do think it stems from a great clubhouse.
Yeah. Were you surprised at all the way Robo reacted whenever he had the brouhaha and the benches cleared and all that? I mean, when Robo pretty much went into compete mode, was there anything about that you're like, oh, I knew he was going to do that? He's so competitive, isn't he?
No, I mean, he's a great human being, and he's a good person, but he is very hyper competitive. And no one's gonna hate you for being competitive.
Sure. Even
the other team, you know what I mean? In the moment it might be like, oh, F that guy or whatever like that, but you're just being competitive. Everyone appreciates someone who's a competitive person, and at least I do.
Yeah.
But no, there's no surprise that he was fired up.
So is that how y'all viewed that whole deal? Is it just two sides of people that are just in the competitive moment there? No big deal. It's just the way things go. Is that how y'all viewed that?
I mean, I think so. That's how I viewed it. I think it's just, Robo's, losing the fastball up and in. Maybe he's trying to go up and in. I don't know. And one of them gets him, and it probably pissed him off because, he did it 3 times, control the pitch. But at the same time, it's like it's the World Series. We're all fired up and, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got to know, I mean, I know you guys didn't. I've been in these clubhouses. I know how it goes. It goes kind of both ways. I know there was no David Goliath feeling whatsoever between John Schneider, between the players, between anybody in the Toronto organization. But at the same time, I also know he probably used that as bulletin board material at the exact same time. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I mean, the David and Goliath story is cool. I think Ernie Clement said, they're saying David and Goliath. I'm pretty sure David won. So it's like, not that we won, but I don't know. I don't even want to say we knew we're not the underdog. We knew we were just as good as them, if not better. I believe we were a better team. I believe we played better baseball. I just think, the game is played completely different ways from the Bluejays and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And I think that's since the Dodgers had won in the past and had you kind of just, the media just puts the David and Goliath story on there.
Mm-hmm. So I got to know what the clubhouse was like after the 18-inning loss, and then after the loss in Game 7. You guys competed so hard. You were such an impressive group. I know you guys bounced back, but I have to imagine the moments after were devastating.
Yeah, so after the 18-inning game, we were one, exhausted.
Yeah.
But two, is like, oh man, we just gave it everything we had for 6.5 hours. That sucks.
And got nothing out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the reason we were so good on the year is because we're so good at forgetting quickly.
Yeah.
All right, we lost 18-inning game. Change, go get some sleep. Be ready for tomorrow. You come in, it doesn't even feel like you lost an 18-inning game yesterday. We're ready for today. The 18-inning game, we're just tired. You know how it goes. I mean, you gave everything you had. Everybody on the team, touched the baseball at some point. And then the Game 7 loss. I mean, obviously, it's devastating. It's sad. You give everything you have all season long. You watch your teammates put their bodies on the line, Springer, Ernie, all year long. Sorry. And, it's just devastating. You're sitting there, you're sad. You're sad. You wanted to win really bad. I don't even know how to put it into words. It's sad. It sucks. You don't like losing, especially when you're that close so many times, but that's how the cookie crumbled. And we're just blessed to be a part of each other's lives and a part of the season together.
You're one of the most mentally tough, resilient. You're perfect for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just looking at your path, I mean, you dealt with injuries early on. Mm-hmm. You made your way back. You dealt with not getting moved up in the system at a super fast pace. You've dealt with all that and eventually made the major leagues. So I kind of wanted to ask you this question. I know you can answer. This is probably a fairly difficult question. But what was probably the most gut-wrenching feeling for you? Watching the Rojas home run, knowing that you had it won in the 8th inning if he doesn't hit that home run, or actually watching the last double play?
I'd say probably, when the game really ended, for me and most high-level baseball players, I believe, the game's not over till it's over.
Absolutely. Ask both teams in this series.
Yeah. I mean, the Rojas home run sucked for sure. But that's baseball. Shit. Sorry. Stuff's going to happen.
No. We're good. Yeah. We're good.
Okay. Stuff's going to happen. The ball's going to leave the yard sometimes. You go in there, you throw strikes, you compete with what you have, and that's how it goes. And I think if you're going to have success more often than not if you go up there and you're just confident in what you have in the strike zone. Does it suck? Yeah. But, I think the hardest part was probably when the game actually ended. You know what I mean? Because we're such a fighting team and a comeback team, and we never felt down when we were down. You know what I mean? It was like we were never out of the game. We could be down, 15 runs. We never felt like we were out of the game.
Yeah. So you grow up in the system with all these Hall of Famers that are like 3 or 4. Here you are in like Great Lakes. You're in Tulsa, and you're hearing the names Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, and they're almost bigger than life because. Hell, you're just a minor league guy, right? I mean, that's kind of literally that. There's a lot to that, and so now here you are on the mound facing Shohei Ohtani. You look on deck, and there's Mookie Betts in the hole. You got Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. I mean, was that ever like an overwhelming moment to where you literally had to stop yourself and go, "Okay, I got to stop thinking like this. It's just baseball."
No. You're like, dang, this lineup's hard. But so was ours. I mean, we were the best hitting team in baseball all year. Personally, I don't want to face us more than I want to face the Dodgers.
Yeah, right.
Because the odds that I'm giving up a hit are higher if you're facing us. So, the names are bigger, but we're in the World Series together. We both deserve to be here. Currently, we're on the same level as a team. I know Snide's going to put me in the best spot for me to have success to help the team win, and I'm just going to go, like I was just saying, compete in the zone, and my stuff versus you, brother. So, and if you get me, you get me.
Yeah. So. Many differences between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, especially the way that they play offense, the styles, and then even really kind of the way that you sequence pitching-wise. But one very big similarity is that your best players are also your hardest workers and your best dudes on the team. That really creates an incredible chemistry, which is why those two teams, I think, was a big reason they were both in the World Series.
Yeah. Seeing guys like Springer and Vladdy and, all those big names, Scherzer. I mean, Scherzer is out there running polls he's running while I'm walking, with the rest of the team's walking in off the bus, and it's just like, oh my God, this guy's nuts. But and then watching Springer, I feel like every day he had a different injury, and he's just playing through it. So you're sitting in the bullpen, this guy hits a home run over your head, and you're like, God, nobody in the stands knows his knee's still killing him, and it's just like he's just doing it. But yeah, getting to see your best players set the example is really cool.
Has it sunk in yet exactly what you got to do this year? I mean, you got to make your major league debut and pitch in the World Series all in the same year. Has all that sunk into you yet?
Yeah, it hadn't in the moment. I was grateful in the moment, but looking back and being like, wow, the fact that hopefully I have a long career and successful career, but there's a lot of people that get to have long careers and never even see the postseason. So being able to go all the way to the World Series and have the success that we did this season was a blessing. And I'm very proud of our team, and I'm proud of myself. So, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a cool full circle moment for you. You got to make your major league debut in Seattle, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the ALCS, you got to pitch Game 3. I think it was your last appearance of that ALCS as far as that series went. In Seattle. So first of all, take us through that major league debut in Seattle and how cool that was to come full circle to face them in the ALCS in Seattle, where you made your major league debut. Yeah,
I mean the debut was great. Being in Seattle is such a great atmosphere there. And I was coming in. I got a funny story about the debut. Coming in, the roof's closing. So it's my first time with a roof, playing in a place with a roof. The roof's closing, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
You forget guys in AA and AAA have never even. That's so awesome.
The roof's closing. I'm running out on the field, and it's like halfway. And then when I get to the mound, the person behind the dish is Dalton Varsho.
Oh, man.
It's not a catcher. It's Dalton Varsho, because the two catchers are on the base or hitting. I'm like, oh, God, my heart is racing. And I'm like, I cannot spike this curveball and smoke him in the face right now. So I actually think it helped.
Which you've done before, because you have a big curveball.
Yeah. So it dialed back a little bit, and I'm like, okay, just get in the zone. So I think it helped dial me back a little bit. But the debut was very cool for those two reasons. And it was my debut. But going back, I was talking to all the guys. All the guys were like, Fish, you made your debut here when we were in the CS. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Getting a pitch here right now. And the atmosphere was unbelievable. The atmosphere there was unbelievable. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, great full circle moment, Yeah, pretty cool.
Kind of interesting. You had to fight your way onto the field for a AA team with AA Tulsa. We mentioned that earlier. Mm-hmm. But after you make your debut, you get to pitch 2 days later in the major leagues, and you made your home debut in the Rogers Center. First of all, talk about your home debut and what it was like getting to play in that facility.
Yeah, I mean, my home debut is awesome. Getting able to play in front of the fans and not be on the road is a completely different ball game, because the fans really do make an impact on how you feel during the game. And I think whoever, there really is a home and away advantage when you're in the minor leagues. It doesn't feel that way very often. It just feels like you're on a field. But when you get to the big leagues and there are 40,000 people yelling for you and your team, it really does change the game. But that facility is unbelievable. I think they just made a couple $100 million renovations. Our clubhouse is ridiculous. It makes going to the field every day a little bit easier because everything's so comfortable. There's anything you need's there. It's beautiful. So it's just a comfortable place to be. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool, and it's a dome. So
yeah.
And then when it's open, you got the CN Tower right there, which is really cool.
Yeah, cool. So this wasn't on the question log. I have no idea how this answer is going to go. But the play where the ball got stuck underneath the padding, right? I mean, like I think Major League Baseball Network went out and tried to do it like from 3 feet away and couldn't, right? So first of all, did you have a good look at that, and what was your perspective of that play?
No, I actually couldn't see it. I was underneath because there's 2 levels of bullpen. I was underneath, and the angle, you can't look through the fence and even see what's happening. So we had to watch it on the TVs on the replay. But but when I go back and look at that, it's like it was in the wall, I don't know if he could have grabbed it or not. The ruling is what it is. Whatever. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Brule was out there trying to, Justin Brule.
Oh yeah, JB. Yeah,
out there trying to throw the ball.
His dad's, by the way, is like a world class bowler. Brule said. I didn't know if you knew that. Yeah, like your bowl's like 300. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, he was out there trying to throw the ball in the fence, and we couldn't get it to do it. So, but it's just one of those things, man, that, that's why baseball's as great as it is. Little things can happen. It's a game of inches. If that ball's a centimeter higher, it doesn't get stuck. Centimeter lower, it doesn't get stuck. It's just how it works, man. And, we all understand that. It sucks, but that's how it goes.
I guess my question would be, why are we building $500 billion facilities with domes and roofs and all this, and the ball can get stuck in the fence in a World Series game? Hey, by the way, does JB still have that slider and that changeup where he has the right and left turn? Those are pretty wicked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He can go either way with it, Kenny.
Yeah. He's got nasty stuff.
Justin Brule's pretty good. Okay, so I wanted to ask you this question, too. Another fairly difficult question. You win, after the 18-inning game, you win the next 2 games in Los Angeles. That flight home back to Toronto had to be pretty upbeat, pretty excited. I mean, was it blue-collar workmanlike like you guys always were, or was it a little bit more upbeat like, hey, we got this thing in the bag?
I don't know. We've never been we got it. Because that's as soon as you do that, then you let your guard down. No, we celebrated the wins, and we had the off day the next day, so we had a little bit of fun. But at the same time, the time change is so great, and we're flying after the game that it's so late. You're trying to sleep a little bit on the plane.
Yeah, because you're going back 3 hours.
Yeah, we just treated it as if it was another game that we had won, and getting ready for the next one, and yeah.
Did you get to hear from any of the offensive players in the clubhouse about what made Yoshinobu Yamamoto so good in that series?
I don't recall hearing the offensive players, but I think I could tell you why he's such a good player. He's got 85 different pitches, and he throws them all exactly where he wants to. That's pretty hard to hit, and they're all good. So, he's a good pitcher, and it was very impressive watching him do what he does. But
okay, I got to have you take me back to what was your first thought when they told you to get up in the bullpen for the first time in the World Series, and the immediate what went through your head whenever you got the call that you're going in? Those had to be cool moments.
Yeah, I mean, it is really cool. You sit there and your heart's racing the whole game, and then when they call and they run down and say, "Oh, it's Fish," okay, you have to take a little bit more deep breaths than you normally have to. In the moment, I think I'm just trying to treat it like a normal game, but afterwards, it's like I just pitched in the World Series. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, just blessed, grateful, and trying to have fun.
Did you have to decompress after you came out, or was it more like we're still in a game and I just got to pay attention to the game, and it was like just the competitive aspect of it?
Yeah, I usually try and decompress and relax because, I have a hard time. If I pitch in any game, I have a hard time falling asleep that night. Yeah. So I try and do my best to really slow the heart rate down and get the adrenaline out. And so I still enjoy the game, and I'm fired up and I watch it, but I'm really trying to, relax and get ready for tomorrow because my job's done for the day. It's up to the boys to go do their job. So, just try and decompress.
Okay, man, let's finish it up right here.
Okay.
I know your folks, wonderful people. They actually, I believe, sold their house a couple of years ago and bought them a mobile home to drive around with so they could follow watching you play. That probably ended whenever you ended up going up to Buffalo and Toronto and that kind of deal. I think since they probably bought a home from there. Yes. So I know they have the grandparents, the family, all the people back there in League City, Clear Falls High School. 1 million people went into Braydon Fisher becoming the guy that was able to be good enough to make the major leagues and pitch in the World Series. This is your chance, at least on this small channel here, to thank them.
Yeah, just such an amazing group of support for me, and I've always been so grateful for them and my parents and my grandparents and friends, family, and supporters, whoever they may be. My fiance does an amazing job I'm getting married in like 9 days. By the way.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. So what a year for me.
Yeah.
But anyways,
You're having the Ryan
I mean,
Pepio year, by the way, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Get it all done.
Now all you got to do is hit a hole in one, and it'll be a complete year, right?
Oh, that ain't gonna happen. I'm bad at golf. Anyways,
You're a PO in the major leagues, and you're bad at golf, Fish. Come on, man.
Yeah,
we got to fix
I don't play
that
during the season because it makes my back sore. So I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just so grateful for them and all this. Everything they've had to sacrifice. The older you get, the more you start realizing really what they gave up for me to be able to chase my dream. Every weekend, going here, going there, hotels, traveling, the miles on the car, the money spent, and it's I'm just so blessed, and I hope one day I can repay it all. And to them, just making it for a day, would be the payment, but yeah, they're just amazing, and I can't be more grateful for them.
Were they at all the World Series games?
They were at game 3 on, so the first game they were at game 3 on. I'm like, you need to see a normal game, and then you have to see like when it starts getting dicey. Because in the CS we played game 7, and I was like, game 1, 2, and 3 pretty normal. 4, 5, 6, 7 were a little bit different. So I wanted them to be able to see all of it. Yeah, it was awesome.
So like even the minor leagues, they would like sit in the very front row. I mean, they wanted the best look at it. So I'm sure they were nervous as heck, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're more nervous than I am.
All right. Yeah.
They're up there, and they're more nervous than I am.
Braydon Fisher, this has been a wonderful honor. Needless to say that I was, and I'll say this out loud, I was very adamant that when it came down to Braydon Fisher versus the Dodgers, I was going to root for Braydon Fisher under all circumstances. You're one of my favorites. As you can't tell, just a gracious young man spending 33 minutes here with a Dodgers podcast as a Toronto Blue Jay team, answering all these tough questions I asked. You, sir, are absolutely first class. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.